Michael Clark is still with us. So, Michael, we'll pick up on some of that that Mark Voigt just said a little bit later. But let's focus in on the fight for the south of the country at this point. As you said earlier, it's becoming a fight for the cities. And we understand that Kherson and Mariupol are being heavily contested right now.
Yeah. Three big cities that we need to think about in the south. As we said, numbers count, numbers eventually matter. And the Russians have now committed about 80% of all of their forces to this. So they've got reinforcements, they can bring in fresh troops. The Ukrainians have only got what they've got. And flesh and blood will only take so much when they've been fighting for 7 days. But Mariupol, that in theory should have fallen within hours, it's still contested. I don't know how it is still holding out, but apparently it is. So Mariupol is in a contested area, and the Russians still haven't taken it. Kherson, very important. It's the main city in the region, and Kherson is a city that relates to everything else. Big city, and certainly the Russians say they've got it. They probably have got most of it, but they haven't got all of it. Odessa, still very much in Ukrainian hands, but undoubtedly the Russians have already apparently launched one maritime assault on Odessa, which was beaten back, but they will keep on moving. So Mariupol, Kherson, Odessa, the corridor will go across the south, and then those forces will then move up the Dnieper River, up the big Dnieper Valley, to try and link up with forces in the north, probably sometime, let's say, next week.
Yeah, let's take a look now at the wider map finally then, Michael, and see where we are with this. Now, of course, in the past day or so and for the past few weeks, there has been talk of a no-fly zone to be enforced. Let's have a discussion about what may happen with that, and also the idea of perhaps bringing in some kind of humanitarian corridor to help resupply and help people leave from the west of Ukraine. What's your thoughts on those ideas?
No-fly zones sound attractive. They absolutely won't happen. The reality of no-fly zones, as you know, they've been operated over northern and southern Iraq years ago, is that they don't involve aircraft, as it were, sweeping away other aircraft or competing with them. It involves aircraft attacking defence facilities, anti-aircraft batteries and radars on the ground. So to operate a no-fly zone, NATO aircraft would have to attack Russian anti-aircraft and radar facilities on the ground, and possibly along the border with Belarus, because a lot of the Russian air defence is operated inside Belarus. That would be an act of war. We're not going to do it. Humanitarian corridors, more possible, because they're only on the ground. They could be supervised, let's say, by the United Nations or the OSCE, the Organisation for Security and Cooperation in Europe. They could be civilianised if there was some agreement, and push humanitarian aid
from those NATO countries.
Exactly, from NATO, and mainly from Poland. That's the easy way in. That might happen. But it won't happen soon, because relieving the humanitarian pressure is not something the Russians want to do, because they use the civilian suffering as part of their war strategy.
Absolutely right. OK, Michael Clark, do appreciate that analysis. Thank you very much.